This is the story of how Neville Goddard's brother manifested wealth for himself and his family, and what you can learn from this story to manifest wealth and more financial abundance for yourself. So let's just dive right in. So this is what Neville Goddard said. My oldest brother at the age of 18 had no money and no prospects of getting any. He had a dream. He dreamed of owning a building which housed the family business. Twice a day, on his way to work and return, he would stop opposite the building which occupied an entire block at the widest area of the main street, and there he would imagine seeing the words Goddard and Sons on its marquee. Again, right now you listen to this and you think, oh, okay, but that's a nice story. How can I utilize this for myself to really, get a better job, get a better paying job, get more financial resources flowing to me, get more success, get more business success, get more clients? You have to stay. I will go through the explanation through Neville's story, and then I will, basically put out the core elements, the core parts, right? But here we can already see that his brother had the desire for money, had the desire for wealth, and he would imagine on a building, he would imagine, it's saying Goddard and Sons to imply that it's now owned by him, owned by his family, owned by the Goddard family. So he persisted in this act for 2 years, when one day a total stranger bought the building for the family, trusting them to pay him back over the period of 10 years. We'll learn more about this in the second part. So, because Neville also said, right, in my own family, my brother Victor befriended a man who at the end of his life left a very large sum of money to him. Victor had a consuming desire to have money, and he never had a divided mind. So, also key point, right? So his brother had a consuming desire to have money. So really a burning desire, which we know is the motor element, is the beginning of change, right? It all starts with a desire, and then we shift to the new level, and then we have new desires, and we go to the new level. So in this case, it's about money, it's about finances, it's about wealth, it's about financial abundance. So he had this, and he never had a divided mind. So he knew what he wanted, and he did not let go of that. So meaning he occupied that again and again and again, as long as it took him to make this internal reality like an accepted fact, to make this true for him, to really accept this as, okay, this is now who I am, this is now what I have. So he wanted wealth more than anything and believed that money was power. He was tired of poverty and dreaming wealth. His world was populated with people bringing opportunities to make more and more money. There is a key point in this statement, right? He was tired of poverty, so he was triggered by his current circumstances. He no longer wanted to perpetuate what right now his 3D world showed you, and he was dreaming wealth. What is meant by that is not that he was dreaming and hoping for wealth. No, he was dreaming wealth, right? He was dreaming wealth into being. He was changing the dream, right? In your dream at night, when you realize you're dreaming at night, you have a lucid dream, you realize, then you control the dream. Same with this dream of life. When you realize that you are the dreamer, that you can put your attention to something new subjectively in your inner world, and then this is also going to be reflected back. Isn't it also a dream, right? If you can dream something differently into being by internally, say, selecting this new state, making this new state alive, and imagining something new in yourself, and then that's also what you see in the circumstances, right? That is what Neville's brother did, right? He made alive in himself this new state or this reality where he owns his business, where he is successful, and then his circumstances also reflected that. Right? His world was, starting to get populated by people bringing him opportunities, right? Like Neville said, if it takes one person or 1,000 people to aid the birth of the realization of your desire, people will come in your world and reflect back what you've done in yourself so that this state is perfectly expressed. And my brother did the same thing. It doesn't matter what things look like in the world. He sees it as he wants to see it. Key point, right? He saw his preference. Obviously, this building where he saw Goddard and Sons standing on the marquee, this was not actually in his sense world being there, but he saw what he wanted to see, right? He sees as he wants to see it. So he saw in his imagination, his mind's eye, that no, it says Goddard and Sons. He saw this so often until it became like literally a true reality for him within, and then that was reflected. That is literally how it then played out. And things come up, and now they've made millions, but millions in a little tiny place like Barbados. So they really made millions. Really, with this imaginal act, he made millions. So that building, which became the foundation of our family's growth, started in my brother's imagination. Right? It started within Neville's brother's internal world. Having nothing on the outside, to return to, my brother had the guts to imagine and believe that his imagination would create his reality, right? He had the guts. So he wasn't bowing and bending to what the facts dictate. No, he created new facts and new realities within himself, which were then reflected. But he didn't took his cue from what right now his world showed him. Key point, right? On the outside, nothing. Within, he created it for himself. Today, I don't think you could buy the family out for multiple millions because their cross business last year exceeded 30 million. So pretty successful business, right? So do as my brother did and discover the depth of God in you. Test your imagination, for there is no other God. If you test him and discover that it is he who creates all things by producing tangible proof of his reality in what you did, then no one will be able to persuade you that what happened was a coincidence. Meaning when you discover this principle that your imagining creates reality, when you discover this principle that what you made alive in yourself is then reflected, then you need no other's help. But you don't beg anyone for anything. You make alive in yourself that desired state, that is then reflected back. Again, there's a key learning within this story, right? Neville's brother Victor turned to his imagination, right? He created abundance in himself. So what can you now apply? What can you now practically adopt from this video? Well, first of all, you should know that it's not to battle with the mirror. It's not to try to make things happen outside. No, you ask yourself what you want. You probably also have a desire for more money, for more finances. What would it be like if this would be true? What would imply to you that it's true? Neville's brother, for him, seeing the words Goddard and Sons implied to him that he now owns his building, that he now has his business success, right? That was his anchor in this new state. But what would imply for you that you're successful? Maybe you would not see your name on a building. Maybe it's that, you would buy something that right now you can't buy. Maybe a family member, a friend would make a certain comment or congratulate you on your success. Or you would have a certain experience that you would right now not have because you're not having the financial resources, right? What would imply that you have this money? You can also within generate the mood and the state and the identity of a financially stable person by filling up your imagination with that again and again and again until it's natural for you. And then your world has to express this new state, right? And what I really like here is his brother had the guts to imagine and believe that his imagination would create his reality, that what he experienced in the imagination is already a reality and would therefore be reflected on the outside, right? That is, he created millions through his imagination, not through blood, tears, and sacrifice. Whatever actions are required, again, there will be maybe actions required, but you can't determine the ways. Let the ways be determined automatically. I have a video on this called, should you take action when manifesting? I will link this one above right now. But that's key, okay? So let me know in the comments down below how you like this story, if you made experiences with manifesting more finances by consciously using your imagination, and if you need more help on that, right? Because within my program, I can not only help you to understand the philosophy, I can also really keep you accountable on applying that, on staying in your desired states, on not wavering in all of that. Because like Neville said, where is it? He never had a divided mind. But what sometimes can happen when we are alone on this journey is that our mind drifts, that we get anxious, that we get fearful again. But if you're in an environment where you have like-minded people, me, you have one-on-one calls in our community, you have weekly calls with me, you have a system, then it becomes easier to actually stay on track. Because probably Neville's brother also talked with Neville about these teachings, right? They also talked about it, kept themselves accountable. So I can offer the same for you if you want that. You can also go by yourself. This is only if you really want this system around you, the safety net. And I speak to you in the next video. Bye, guys.